On August 9th of 2024, folks on Instagram found themselves astounded at a video of a car-shaped UFO allegedly spotted flying somewhere over in Mexico. User @BN_forever captioned the video with, "A car-shaped UFO was captured in the sky over Mexico during a storm. This strange sighting left everyone curious and puzzled. What do you think about it?" And this was accompanied by a couple of emojis looking like they're pondering their, thoughts. Personally, looking at this, my brain goes back to that moment in the second Harry Potter book, the one where Harry and Ron decide to take the flying forward Angelica to school because they couldn't get on the train. Crazy news spree moment. And honestly, by the looks of the comment section on said Instagram post, a lot of folks tend to agree with my comparison. The timeline of this clip makes it a little too soon for it to be part of any kind of Harry Potter annual occurrence, but hey, it does fit in with an alien story that I've told on here a couple of times before. Grant Rollins of suburban Maryland was just like average dude, and then one night got yoinked into a spaceship, and while he was up there, and this is where it fits in folks, he entered this big room that was lined with vehicles on hooks along the walls. It was all like human vehicles. We're talking cars, motorcycles, some even military vehicles. And that would explain how aliens are able to blend in here on Earth and visit often without leaving a trace. Nothing crazy happened to Grant, by the way, just the usual tracker being inserted, brought back to Earth, left here, follow-up run-in with Men in Black a couple days later. But it would make sense that Men in Black are the aliens' way of keeping tabs here on Earth. So I'm just saying, long story short, if 2 and 2 makes 4, this is starting to add up in terms of making sense. On September 4th of 1971, members of the Instituto Geográfico Nacional, or the National Geographic Institute, took photographs above Lake Cote for the Costa Rican governmental company that provides electricity and telecommunication services. These photographs were taken for the construction of a hydroelectric dam near Lake Arenal, where the mapping agency members accidentally captured a UFO in their high-resolution camera that was mounted on the plane, pointing downwards. And this photograph is considered to be the clearest and best UFO photograph ever taken, which is why we are talking about it today. Sergio Loaiza, Juan Bravo, and Francisco Reyes were flying in this Canadian-made Aero Commander model. I think it was F680, and it was piloted by one Omar Arias. And Sergio was in charge of aerial photography that day. They were flying above Costa Rica, they had this 100-pound map-making camera, and Sergio captured a photograph of a metallic disc that looks like an alien's flying saucer, and it can be seen flying between the aircraft and the ground. Now these folks were flying at 10,000 feet. They were mapping the landscape beneath them with this camera that was programmed to take photos every 20 seconds. So when looking at the negatives, everybody was like, what on earth did we get on camera? And for a while, everybody involved was banned from talking about it. According to UFO researcher Oscar Sierra, these photographs were analyzed in the USA and France and other places, and they were found to be 100% real. The object can only be seen in the photograph in the frame that's, I think, number 300 in the sequence, and there's no indication of it in either the frame of the film that came before it or the one immediately after it. And thanks to the film stock and the quality of the camera, it was incredibly clear. Like, it was not in either other frame, just in frame 300. During the actual flight, the captain and his 3 crew members didn't really witness anything, and neither did anybody else. So we're estimating that the UFO was anywhere between 120 to 220 feet across, but the actual width would have depended on the object's exact altitude. Fun fact, New York Times writer and author Leslie Kean revealed that she has a framed copy of the photo. So according to an interview, on the wall behind her desk, there's this framed image that looks like a frisbee. But it was given to her, along with the chain of custody documentation by contacts in the Costa Rican government. Why? Well, because it's the best image of a UFO ever made public. She's talked about this in radio interviews. She's like, I love this photo. It is the best photograph of a UFO ever taken. And she just goes on and on and on and pretty much says everything I've already said today. But like, this is the clearest photo of a UFO ever. It was just a camera strapped to the bottom of a plane, and we got this. She talks in detail about, like, there's this disc object. You can clearly see the sun reflecting off this round object. There's a little dot on the top. And like, folks, I don't think I can stress this enough. This is a government photo. So like, you know it's authentic. And nobody's ever really talked about it. In November of 2014, a routine patrol by the Chilean Navy near the capital of Santiago, between San Antonio and Quintero in the Valparaiso region, led to an unexpected encounter with an unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, which is the new way of saying UFO. While the technician was testing the newly installed high-definition infrared camera that was equipped on the Navy helicopter, it captured two large overlapping orbs. The thermal camera's readout indicated that the object was hotter than everything else in the frame and that its speed matched that of the Navy helicopter, which was flying at like 130 knots. However, the most intriguing part of the footage was the appearance of two plumes released by the object. Not once, but twice. The plumes appeared to be emitting some form of gas or vapor and were visible only in the infrared setting, not the optical viewer. So the Chilean Navy, which by the way, they actually openly investigate UAPs, they studied this video for like 2 years before releasing it to the public. And the government concluded that this object has the characteristics of a UAP, including its ability to avoid detection by radar and its lack of response to communication attempts by the Navy crew. Flash forward to 2017, the Committee for the Study of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena, which is a body linked to the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGAC for short, classified this as an unidentified aerial phenomenon. Experts who analyzed the footage provided various hypotheses, but no definitive explanation. They're like, maybe it was a hostile craft trying to infiltrate airspaces, but like drone and balloon technology didn't fit the object's characteristics. Some folks were like, oh, maybe these plumes could be contrails from a commercial jet flying at low altitude, which would explain the irregular pattern and appearance. However, the absence of a corresponding radar signature and the object's trajectory towards Santiago, a city with over 4 million people, kind of raised some concerns about a possible threat. So enter investigative journalist Leslie Keene, known for her research on all this, and she conducted interviews with key individuals and obtained access to case records. And in a report for the Huffington Post, she shared additional information, and she's like, yeah, like this is a groundbreaking UFO video. That's it, that's all. How could I do today without talking about the world's clearest UFO photo in Scotland? Yeah, this was taken like 30 years ago by 2 hikers. It was titled the Calvine photograph, and the negatives were like handed over to the Daily Record newspaper. They were just like, okay, here you go, here's our proof. And then they sent it to the Ministry of Defense, and now nobody knows where those negatives are. According to reports, the photograph was captured on the 4th of August in 1990, about 35 miles northwest of Perth, and the hikers who spotted the flying object have remained anonymous to this day. The image shows a huge diamond-shaped object hovering in the sky with a smaller plane flying behind it. And according to eyewitness accounts, the UFO hovered in the air for like 10 minutes before bolting upwards and disappearing. It was estimated to be about 100 feet in length, and we don't know what else. But like the fact that it hasn't been proven false yet? I don't know, folks. And how about we end today with old footage of a UFO flying near an airplane, a clip that's always been an element of heated debate amongst UFO experts and enthusiasts. The 19-second long footage, which is often claimed to be a clip of a lengthier video, shows this round, saucer-shaped object that's been compared to the McMinnville UFO photographs, and you see it hovering near an airplane and then moving forward. You see it maneuvering below the aircraft wing and then flying upward. So once again, folks, we think it's a screen recording of a different video, and there's a lot of theories on the origin of this. It was published on the internet like 7 times in the late 2000s, so we don't know its actual origin date. But as far as I know, the earliest source of the uploading was YouTube from an account named Frasani in 2008. And the caption was just, UFO from a plane. The user explained that the UFO was captured from the window of a blue panorama flight from Rome to Paris on, allegedly, April 29th of 2006. But then other folks are like, no, this is from the 90s. There's like clear full evidence of military tested saucer reproductions over the US skies around Nevada, which like, if you know, you know. This footage is a late 90s recording. But like, I don't know, man. So you're like, okay, Alexa, has this been debunked? No, there's been a lot of folks who allegedly work in the aviation field, and they're like, this is too good to be true, but there's no valid explanation for how it could be fake. Now, some folks are like, okay, well, it's CGI, right? Not for the time frame, not for anybody's budget. Nobody was wasting that much money at that time to make this. So let me know what you think in the comments. And that's all, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly. See ya!